Um, so Absolute Fat Flash number three. Wow, that was a rough start. Um, did this issue read really quick for you? Like, I know it's kind of like,
I mean,
but
yes, but it was like really good.
I know it was really good, and it kind of it kind like I don't know if I can't really say it yet, but like the whole Barry thing
Yeah.
with like him kind of being strung along while he's running and he's like getting destroyed, kind of
It
deteriorating.
yeah, like and maybe like this is completely like wrong, but it kind of seems like the accident didn't really kill Barry, but at the same time, like every time Wally runs, he's being chased by this like by him, but he's like slowly like fading away. Is that what it seems like to you? Like every time he uses his powers, it's slowly like Barry's like slowly being pulled apart.
Yeah. It
So
was kind of it was weird to me because when
okay,
Wally
and
oh,
maybe this is like just me looking too much into it, but it kind of seems like Lemire is taking the idea of like, okay, like you know how when Barry dies in Crisis and Wally like when he becomes a Flash, like his whole like first couple years is just him like being under Barry's shadow and not really feeling like he's adequate enough to be the Flash or any of these things because of because he holds Barry in such high regard, you know? Do you
right.
think it's more of like a play on that where it's like Barry is still the reason that he becomes the Flash, but he's so like distraught and like the idea that he's the reason Barry is dead or is dying haunts him. So it's kind of in almost like a weird like supernatural way. He's being haunted by the ghost of his mentor in the same way he would in the main I almost said 616. In like the main DC universe. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it kind of like the themes are there, and that might just be a shot in the dark, but I don't know.
Yeah. Um
Rather than it being like this metaphorical, like I'm haunted by the ghost of my mentor, and I can never be better than him. Now it's like an actual ghost chasing him down because
right.
this is your fault. You know, like he's kind of like he feels like he's responsible for it.
What I'm kind of wondering is like is there still a scene to be had? Like obviously we look on the page where he's just like help me and then like, he kind of runs
Yeah.
away. Um but he goes back and grabs that suit, which you called it before. Like, is he just gonna take the suit right off Barry? I was like, it's kind of odd, but like, I mean, it's
He just
comics.
he
But
just straight up was like, all right, it looks cool enough. I'll take it off his body.
there was one line that I wanted to bring up to you. Um, it's right after we see Barry, like, kind of on fire,
Hmm.
saying, help me. The next page, it says, I can't do this anymore. I don't even know who I am. I don't know where I am. I don't know what I am. I thought like I just for some reason was thinking of like a firestorm kind of thing where like what if Barry is like kind of actually in
Dude,
his head?
that would
But
be
I don't know.
cool.
I think I'm reading into it. Um,
Well, okay, and
we'll
maybe you're
see.
not because like if you look at the way the Absolute universe is going so far, like you've got Ra's al Ghul making moves in Absolute Superman, and that's not really like
Yeah.
ordinary for DC because he's just a Batman villain.
I saw
Um,
that panel, but I don't know anything really about that.
so like, I mean, I guess the short of that is, like the antagonist organization in Superman is called Lazarus, and they're kind of like a what appears to be like a global police force, and they're taking advantage of like villages and countries around the world that are like in poverty. They they're in like it kind of kicks off in Brazil. Like there's this diamond mine, and like they're taking advantage of all the people working there because it's just locals and natives. So you have like this like overbearing police force that's literally just countless peacemakers is all they are. Like they all wear the same garb and it just looks like peacemaker, and that's what they're called, peacemakers. And then so like you have like Superman who comes in. and kind of like saves the day, and it kicks off everything. But then you learn several issues later that the man behind it all is Ra's al Ghul. He's like the leader of this Lazarus group. And then you have like Brainiac, who's, I mean, that's like a whole thing. But it's not entirely impossible for us to maybe see like a little bit of crossover
It
with
seems like there's a little bit of a dud going on with Absolute Superman. I feel like the hype's just not
I
there.
like it. I like it. I think it's good. It's just going to be a really, really slow build. And I think the reason for that is it's still, I think out of all of the books, it's the one that's almost the most like its main counterpart.
Okay.
Because it's really just like a timeline shift and a couple of exceptions where it's like Bruce, or not Bruce, Clark was older when he was on Krypton when it exploded. And because he was older when he came to Earth, the circumstances were a little bit different, and his relationship with the Kents is different, and his relationship with Lois and everything else is a little bit different because plus you have the whole dark side influence and everything's worse off already. But I don't know. I
Hmm.
think it's good. I don't think it's the best of the bunch. I think if I had, it's it's my least favorite of the six, but it doesn't mean it's bad.
What's your favorite? This?
Yeah, I would say probably Flash or Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman is just absolutely, it's just been smashing it every single month, dude. It's just so good.
I
Like
feel
if
like
you like, if
Absolute
you like,
Batman's like the mainstream kind of one where that's the one that everyone
yes,
talks about.
yes, yeah. It's the easy one. I mean, you got two big creators on it. Like if you don't know who Dragata is, it's because you probably haven't read Fantastic Four or anything indie in the last like, or you haven't read anything Hickman, I guess, because they've done work together a bunch. So
Yeah. You've been reading the wrong books, basically.
yeah, I mean, yeah, basically. Sorry that your taste is bad, everybody.
Sean Gribben. No, I'm just kidding. Reading the wrong books. Um,
But okay. So I had a. What do you think of Grodd?
I like it. I think it's cool. I told you this before, and I know you don't really like Jack and Daxter, but I love that series, so I love the little
I
creature
like
on
the vibe here because,
the
like, I mean, like
shoulder.
Jack and Daxter's not my bag, but I like Ratchet and Clank because they're kind of similar.
I mean,
But
I'll
like, in,
take
in
it.
in like in
I'll
like
take
the
it.
buddy up, like you have the little guy who's like kind of the
Right.
support. But yeah, no, I like this like trope.
Yeah.
I think it works here.
I like it because my biggest concern with this series is if he was a runaway the whole time. I feel like him being on the run constantly would kind of get a little old. Like you need another character to kind of bounce things off. Like he can't just be on the
Yes,
run the whole
and
time.
it almost helps that he's like to everybody else, he's a character that doesn't speak. So the
Right.
relationship and the dialogue between them is just between them, and it adds this element of like he almost always has like an inherent edge, which offsets like his character being alone all the time.
Right. Okay.
Because I don't know, and again, maybe this is me just looking for things because I've just been reading Lemire for years now, and he tends to like kind of drop these little like symbology here, and this has a meaning that you didn't think it would have until much later on. So he's really good about that kind of stuff.
It is exciting because I love how quick these issues read.
Mm,
And I mean, I think like Jeremy Adams Flash, those were quick reads. Loved
yeah.
it. It felt like if I had 5 or 10 minutes, I could read the whole issue. Which yeah,
Mm,
I read this one quick and I reread it just as quick. It was great. Um, I kind of felt like it felt very much like the end of the first arc because that last
hmm
page.
Yeah.
I'm a little indifferent to that because I'm kind of like, I felt like there was a little bit more to go here. Does that
What's
make
the next
sense?
issue?
I don't even know.
Next solicitation for it, I guess.
Oh, I haven't even seen this cover. This cover looks awesome, by the way.
Oh, this will be like the Jai, or like not Jai, like the J. I think Jay Garrick is coming in.
While he's on the run and looking for a safe place to hide out, he finds himself in Central City and meets a kindly man who offers him a place to
Or is it
crash
Max?
at a youth mission. But is anyone truly safe when the fastest kid alive comes to their city? This is gonna be cool. Okay. All right.
Who do you think it is? Because it's clearly going to be somebody by that we know by name. You know what I mean? That's kind of been the case with all of these.
Why was there a there was a preview, right?
No, no preview as far as I could tell yet. But I mean, just
Oh,
like,
just the solicitation alone?
yeah, I mean, who do you think this kindly man that offers him a place to crash is? Because it's got to be somebody that we know. Is it Jesse? Is it Johnny Quick? And we maybe see Johnny Quick and Jesse Quick, and she works with him at the youth mission.
I don't think it's a speedster, or if it is like a speed, it's a maybe
But
it's a name.
but
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like maybe it's just in name only. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have
Mm,
to be. Don't have to be a speedster at all or yet, if ever. I think just the idea to kind of use familiar faces to kind of build up like kind of a family for Wally, so they can be his Flash family, and even if they don't have powers, it kind of has the found family aspect to it.
I think it's worse like thinking of like which rogues characters haven't showed up.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
Could
like
be.
Mick Rory or someone, you know?
Well, because the next few issues is like Tar Pit, right?
Yep, Tar Pit.
Or is it Heat Wave? It is Heat Wave, huh? It's
Yeah.
not. Okay.
Is
We'll
it?
go to the next solicitation.
Heat wave attacks. Oh yeah.
What if it
I
is
when I
Nick?
saw this, I did think Tar Pit though.
That's what I thought too. That's what I'm saying. Like, what? I mean, it could be Mick. Maybe. Okay.
You
What
know what? I
if
think all right, my prediction right now
it's
is
Mick, but
we're gonna be introduced to Mick Rory and we're gonna be like kind of like on the fence about this guy, like if Wally should trust him. And then I think Heat Wave is gonna be something completely different, like an actual
oh,
monster. I think that's gonna
okay.
be a misdirect. It's like I know the fans, they're knowledge what they're gonna think this is, and it's not that.
And like the way, like every time that we're clicking into the next issue and like I'm reading a solicitation, it almost reads like the way that Lemire does his ongoing indie stuff. Not necessarily like obviously it'll have some like your typical DC Marvel structure, like with arc by arc and how they can sell the trades and stuff.
Yeah.
But I also think that the like it might work in two ways. Like you might have maybe you'll get the first couple arcs will be just shorter, 3 issues, and the first volume will be like you basically get two stories in one. You get two 3-issue arcs.
Okay.
But like the way it almost seems like it's kind of like it's ebbing and flowing. Like you have the 3 issues where it's the Flash of Two Worlds, where it's like the origin story. Then the next 2 issues are picking up at the end of that, where Wally's kind of on the run. He finds a little bit of help and then finds himself in trouble with Heatwave. But then we take a break from that and go back to the Rogues. It kind of appears more that this is Lemire's. I'm just going to keep telling the story. I can frame it in arcs, but I can also like you can read it long form and you don't have to really focus on it being arc to arc to arc and not a lot of connective tissue throughout. Because I mean that's how he tells stories and that's how a lot of storytelling was done in the 80s, 90s and early 2000s before we jumped on this. We have to sell the trade.
Yeah, the issues are more like chapters, kind of.
Hmm. Right. And I prefer that because I don't necessarily need to be you know what I mean? Like for me, that's what episodic and serialized storytelling is. It's just chapter after chapter in the life of these characters. I don't need a story arc that takes place over the course of 3 days, and then you give me a 6-month time jump into the next arc because you just don't have any story to tell because you really don't have a long form story that you can tell over the course of X amount of years, and it's just smaller stories that you can tell.
You know, that's the thing that I like and dislike about Ultimate Spider-Man right now. I don't know if you're reading
Mhm.
Ultimate Spider-Man,
Oh,
but
of course, dude.
I thought so. But yeah, the month at
I
a
haven't,
time,
every single issue, bro. It's just gas.
the month at a time thing, I'm like, I like it, and then I'm like, but
But
then
see,
I
but think about how the entire universe is structured.
right, true.
Every book is told that way, every single one of them.
Mm.
Which, I mean, I guess when you look at it in a day in the month of these characters, I also wonder how the storytelling will change once the maker's back, because it seems like we're just trying to get there rather than like 'cause we don't even know what's going to happen when he's back
Yeah,
because it's just been a
I don't even know. I'm a little worried that that's not going to hit the way it should.
Well, I see. I trust Hickman will probably be the one to write that. If we when we get there, it'll probably be an event. Because you have the Ultimate Spider-Man incursion thing going on, and that's Dennis Camp and Ziegler. But I would imagine if Hickman's going to be writing all of Ultimate Spider-Man and he kicked this off, whenever the Maker returns, he'll probably write that too. And then it kind of seems like it's being like handed off back and forth as like Hickman is still the architect and like the mastermind behind it, but you have Camp who's kind of the push as far as like the writing goes. Like because he's a really good writer.
He
So
is, yeah. He's I when I first saw like the writing team or like the creative team for Ultimates, I was like, oh, it just feels like it should be Hickman. And then
yeah,
when it
that's what I
wasn't, I
thought
was like,
too.
and I wasn't really familiar with Dennis Camp. And
Yeah.
I remember at the time I looked, I was like, this guy hasn't really written much, but he's kind of proved
Dude,
me
20th
wrong.
Century Man is just crazy. And
He did
he
like
just did
he did a
what?
side X-Men book. It was like Children of the Atom. I
Oh,
was
okay.
like, that guy? Like,
Well, and dude, he's doing a book right now at Image, Assorted Crisis Events. It's like basically like time has really gone messed up, and it's creating all of these like issues like dinosaurs will just show up randomly or like somebody might cease to exist all of a sudden because their own personal timeline has aged them out of existence or they'll turn into a baby or you know what I mean or like buildings will just fall apart because and the building that used to be in its place will rebuild itself like it's just a bunch of like it's just absolute chaos at any given moment but like it's an anthology book so you're getting to see like the first issue is this girl who's just kind of like doing this job and she has a clock and she wants it fixed. And you see all of the problems that she has to deal with. It kind of like just drops you in the middle of it and lets you like see what the world is like. But then the second issue is just like a zinger, man, because it's all about this guy who is like works in a meat plant. It's a family business and he just hates it and he hates blood. And it's like this all of these like really like stressful like themes about growing up and having all these responsibilities and these fears and all this shit. And I'm like, dude, what the hell is this guy doing?
damn.
But he's a really good writer. So like it's a kind of circle back. If the handoff is Camp is doing a lot of like the groundwork, like kind of like the building blocks and like building the world out, and Hickman is just like kind of overseeing it all and saying, well, I'll just do the big stuff and Spider-Man, and you carry the rest of it. I think that's a good deal. But
Yeah, it's. I'm kind of curious how it's going to be. It feels like the Maker thing, even though it's like a whole universe thing. I don't read any of the other Ultimate books. I only
yeah,
read that and
Wolverine is
Spider-Man.
so good, bro. Wolverine is so
I read
good.
the first issue. I'm just like
Listen to me.
I,
Get to four. Just get
okay.
to issue four. I'm telling you, man. There's the last 3 pages of that. I like threw my phone. I
Dude,
was
I
like,
think I'm just such a Wolverine and X-Men purist that it's just hard
I
for me.
know. And the last issue had introduced Sabretooth,
Mhm.
and he's sick, man. He's cool. The issue before that, like we got the issue before that was okay, so like issue three, we get to meet like Ultimate Gambit, Ultimate Kitty, Ultimate Black Widow, and Gambit and Kitty are a thing. They're both grown up, so it's okay.
Okay.
They're both adults, so we're good. But because Rogue is like a kid, and like this universe's Rogue is in Japan,
Okay.
like in Momoko's Ultimate X-Men. So like you're getting kind of Ultimate Wolverine is doing your like classic like uncanny characters, I guess, if you want to call it that. Whereas you're getting like the more manga style X-Men in Momoko's Ultimate X-Men. And you're getting it because it's weird because they don't ever really mention this Children of the Atom bit that's going on in Momoko's X-Men and Wolverine. And it's just like straight up like it almost feels like X-Men, but just really dark.
Hmm.
But whereas Ultimate X-Men is like I said, it's kind of like your slice of life manga high school kids have powers, but it almost seems like that they've been inspired by some of these like older guard
Okay.
because you have like a Cyclops type character, but she only has one eye and it kind of she doesn't have control over it.
Oh,
I
I
don't
I
know.
saw something about that. I didn't know if that was real or not. I was really
Yeah, and
confused.
then you've got like Nico Minoru. I think that's how you say her name. And then she's got like she's got her own power set. But like you've got Maystorm, who's inspired by Storm from Wakanda. You've got like a version of Psylocke, but she's a kid and she's like, you know what I mean? Like they're all. I think it's kind of more like in spirit rather than these are exactly who these characters are supposed to be because everybody else seems to exist.
But that's cool though, because it just gives it like it gives it a new kind of flavor. Like this is
Yes, yeah,
these aren't
yeah,
these versions. Like this is a reimagining. And I mean Peach Momoko does great art, so it's like that's a
yeah.
cool
And
book
like
for them to have.
every issue looks really good. I think my one complaint with that book is it just takes a big lull halfway through each arc. It seems like at this point, like the first issue is like a good like starting point, and the second issue is either like in some ways it's better, but in other ways it's subpar. And then you get three and four and five, and it takes a dip because nothing's really happening. And then like the last couple pages of five, the cliffhanger, and then six to finish off the arc, it's a banger. And then it happened again in the second arc. And I'm afraid it's going to happen again in the third arc. So but like to like constantly do this up and down because you're just relying on the good, like the grab in the beginning and the hold on the end. I don't know that it's a formula for a long-term success of a book because you might have a lot of people that end up dropping it multiple times, and then you know what I mean. So it's never consistent.
Interesting. Huh.
But
Um
it's not bad. I think it probably reads better in trade. It's just harder month to month.
Going back to that does not look like how Boomerang looks like.
Is that what Boomerang looks like?
He looks black in there.
Whatever,
Huh.
man.
That's a little
Artistic liberties. It's fine.
yeah, yeah. I love this cover by the way. That's why I have it up.
Dude,
I'm
yeah,
not a fan of the main cover. I'm not a fan of it.
you don't like
I don't like this face. I mean, I don't want to be that guy critiquing on art, but it's
no,
just like
he's got a bit of a he's got a chin, dude, and that yeah, you're not lying.
um
It's just the angle,
so
I think.
so what do you like think going back to this issue? Like what are your
I really
predictions?
did like the moments where Grodd and Wally like connected
Yeah.
because not only because here's the thing is I feel like that was the one thing I was missing
Hmm.
is like his mom or like the little like this was perfect. You didn't spend all this like a whole issue showing me his life with his mom, showing me the deterioration of the relationship with his dad. Like you didn't like I don't would have Lemire nailed the shit out of that issue? Absolutely. Because that's like literally his bag is doing the emotional family drama. He's good at it. It would be and maybe we'll get that at some point and maybe and maybe it'll be at a more fitting time, you know, but also I don't think we need that yet. And to do it in these two little like double page spreads, you know, to do it in this way rather than a whole issue was good because it's just little glimpses and then you get the emotional pull where like Wally's like, man, like he's really feeling it. And then Grodd is like basically like, you know, you're good. Like he like comforts him in that moment because he's all these memories are being brought up in like the worst possible time for him.
Right.
So I think that's probably my favorite moment of the entire issue is just like their connection and Grodd being like you're good, I'm good, like we'll be good together, kind of like reassuring him that it's all going to be okay.
Oh yeah, for sure. Um I like how there's like kind of like that like you kind of talked about like there's that exchange of like their trauma, like what they've kind of
Yeah,
gone through and they're
yeah.
kind of worked it out together. Did you notice in that scene right before they release Grodd, there's a little Thawne reference?
Yes, 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 dude. Like the scientist, I was like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah, and they
Oh,
don't
like
really
no
like do
way.
anything with that. I'm like,
It's not impossible. Where's it at? I'm trying to find that page now.
I think that's one
It,
of those just those little things that like Lemire is just putting in there to be like,
well,
oh,
okay, but listen, you did send me that thing that he confirmed that Linda and Reverse Flash are in this book.
yeah,
Do we see this character come back? Or is it Solomon?
Yeah, we'll see.
Or is it neither and it's Barry?
You know what?
Because he's not dead. I'm still
I,
hanging on to the hope that he might not actually be dead. This is the one Barry I want to stay alive, man. So stay alive, Barry.
I think Barry is going to end up being like a speed demon, like that glimpse of what we saw before.
Oh, like
Like,
maybe like the Black Flash?
yeah, well, you know how they showed like Wally's like his possible futures, kind of like
Yeah. Well,
what
like
he
they
looks
even
like
showed
now.
that in this too again. They show a glimpse of that.
Yeah,
Like where is it? It's when he's like when he's like saying I have to run and he sees Barry like there's just the skull and he sees like right here.
yeah, yep. It's so cool.
Man, it feels
Um,
good to be excited about like a Flash book again.
oh, I know, man. I just feel like
Not to like
not to knock Spurrier, like I like
I
what
was gonna say that.
I can appreciate what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
I think it's just kind of like the purists in us, like we're kind of like,
Yeah.
like I hope like in time we're gonna be like, that was a good different flavor of a book. I
Yeah.
mean, there was some stuff at the end of New 52 that was a little tough to get through.
And
Like,
listen, man, like I like and we've talked about this. Like I like New 52. I think it gets I think it gets too much hate. Like I'm gonna say it, man. I don't think the Future Flash arc is that bad.
no, I enjoy that
Like,
stuff.
you know what I mean?
I
Like, and every like, I feel like that's the one that gets the most shit. Is everybody gives that arc so much grief, and I think it's cool, but like, and then like, okay, like, I don't think Thawne has done the best in New 52,
Not at all.
but I don't hate it.
The
I think the
problem
suit
with
is a
New
little stupid,
52,
but
all right. So just before I go on a little tangent,
because like,
I'm
okay, so it's obviously way more fresh in your mind than it is in mine. So I'm really interested to see how you feel about it. So
so I'm gonna give
I'm
you a comparison. So I'm reading Ultimate Fantastic Four right now. Just doing a binge
oh,
read. I'm kind of trying to get like
okay.
ready for the Maker. So I'm like kind of reading like the
All right.
Maker
You
order.
got okay. Then you have to read. Then part of that's gonna have to be Ultimates by Ewing because he shows up at the end of that.
Right. I have a list of stuff, don't worry. But the
I'm
problem
gonna ask
like
it. Don't worry.
with me, like I've read so much of the original like Lee Kirby Fantastic Four and like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hickman, Wade, whatever. And it's weird to me. The more like the older I get, the more I'm like less accepting of some alternate universe stuff. I know like
Dude, I know.
Absolute
I used
and
to think they were so cool, but now I'm
Ultimate.
like, oh,
There are some cool stuff, but like
yeah,
it's
no.
funny to me like how early they try to be so far different and then like there's certain things that just snap back like very much just it could read like a regular 616 issue.
Yeah,
But the problem with New 52 Flash is it the whole time you're reading it, it just feels like you're reading an ultimate universe kind of thing, like an equivalent. And I know that's kind of the point of the New 52, but y- there's certain moments where I kind of was just like, nah, I'm not accepting this. Like
yeah.
anything they did with the like later on with the rogues, I liked when the rogues all had powers, but it just felt like I'm like,
See, I didn't really
doesn't
care
feel
for
right.
them having powers. Like,
No,
it was fun. I, I guess just it being like an alternate take, it was fine. Whatever. I would have much preferred them just staying like kind of normal. But I guess,
it's just
new
like my head
universe.
canon, like it just snaps back. Like I'm like, I just
Yeah.
want it the way it is.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
But I don't know. Not we just
It's
went on a new
it's crazy
52
to think that
Flash tangent.
like I think probably yeah, man. Like I think by that point I probably had already finished like for the first time like gone through like Wade and Johns by the time like New 52 was like releasing. Because I don't think I actually got to finish those runs until probably early high school.
Yeah.
and I was so, like 2000 was 2010, 2011 was New 52. 2011, right?
Yes, 2011.
I would have been, was it summer or fall of 2011? I don't remember.
Probably summer. I think it's summer.
I was I was just about to be a senior when that
It's so
started.
weird to me because like I was always just a Wally guy, and
Yeah. No, I mean, I no, me too, dude. Like, I mean, because we had, Justice League Unlimited, like on TV. It was Wally was the Flash that I was reading, but you had like, and then like I obviously we knew who Barry was, but like, and then I had read like little bits of like previous Flash stuff with Barry, like older stuff, but never like anything consistent, like his issue here and there, you know?
yeah, it was definitely the show. When the show was out, I was like, oh, it's Barry. But I'm like, I'm gonna check it out, and I love the first like three seasons. But the show definitely got me interested and be like, I should probably finish reading New 52,
Yeah, when New
you
52 was
know?
coming out and I was reading New 50, like when I was reading it, I remember being like, okay, he's cool. He's not Wally, but he's cool, you
Like
know?
they kind of went not hand in hand, like really, but like it did feel like there was some synergy, and like the fan base kind of like
Yeah.
the
I don't
people that
know.
were already
I
reading the
guess
comic.
like when you look at Barry like pre-crisis, he was like a bit of a dweeb, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
At least that's how I felt. Like this,
You know
like
what's like
the bit that I had read. I mean, but like, and then you have Wally who kind of grows into this kind of like he's confident and cool and he's got the girl and he's got all this stuff. And then you go and you like you snap back to Barry, but it's modern day. You can't really do like yes, he can still be like the nerd, but he's also like he's cool when he's in costume and he's when he's the Flash, like and everything looks really tight and really awesome and the storytelling is like modern and you have, modern retellings of the villains and you can kind of do new things with his powers because you've got a new artist who's fucking killer,
yeah.
but
It isn't it weird though, like the TV show, it really borrows heavily from
yes,
like the Jeff
I hate,
Johns stuff.
I hate it so much.
It's so weird. And like even like the way he's written in that, it's probably because like the inspiration that they took was very much like from like the New 52, which like
Yeah, no,
the New
100%.
52 is kind of like what if Barry was written like Wally?
Yeah.
So it's like, oh man. Like I remember as a fan pre 2016, I was like, maybe the Wally I've just always liked, maybe he's gone. And I'll be honest with you. Part of me was kind of like, maybe I can just kind of like step away from the franchise a little bit.
Don't,
Like
dude. Okay, you're just saying all the silent stuff out loud right now because
yeah.
that's how I felt too, man. Like
I
before
even kind of felt
Boomer,
that way, Heroes in Crisis. Like as much as I was
oh,
like kind of bummed, I was like,
okay, listen, you have like they're not a lot. Okay, listen, there have been more moments where comics have just like made my day better than they've made my day worse. You know what I mean?
mm,
Like, you know what I mean? Like you read a good comic and it's got like a sick ass moment that's had that's it's just like issues of payoff. Or like you finish a book and it got an incredible ending. Kind of makes you feel pretty good, you know?
oh
But
yeah.
then you read Heroes in Crisis and it like ruins your whole day, man,
Oh my
because it's
God.
just such
Yeah.
dog shit.
Oh my
So like
God.
there were so like I remember I remember taking an issue of that to work one day and reading it on my lunch and I came back from lunch and I was like, man, I was like I'm ready to go home. Like
Yeah.
I just don't want to be here anymore. I just want to go home. I just want to be left alone. I said, this is fucking awful.
I remember like
I was like, damn it, dude.
I was like still in like community college when I was reading like Heroes in Crisis, and I was just like, man. And at that time, I was only reading like Flash, Batman, and I think Heroes in Crisis. That was my pull list.
Damn.
Maybe Morrison's Green Lantern too, but I was like, I had a
Oh
very
yeah.
light pull list, and I'm just like, man, like 'cause I like Roy Harper too. He's another one of my favorites.
Oh, I know, huh?
All the
Dude, it was
redhead
it was
characters.
weird when they brought him back too.
You
When they
know,
brought him back as a Black Lantern,
yeah, I wasn't really a fan of
I was like,
that.
okay. And then Adam's
Uh,
like, I'll fix it, I guess.
yeah, it's so funny to me because I used to love like the Titans characters. I still do,
They're
but
just like, don't do anything, man. Like they just
I
don't do
found
anything
like
anymore.
I don't care as much anymore. It's odd.
Like, okay, I read Tom Taylor's Titans up
Yeah.
until Beast World, and then I stopped reading it.
Okay.
I I wanted to like it. I did. But like it just seemed like it was all interpersonal drama with the team members for no re like for literally no reason, dude. Like the first issue, I remember like Donna and Starfire were like having a discussion about if they would be offended by the other one telling the other what to do because one of them was in charge. I'm like, this is the stupidest shit I'm reading. Like these people have been friends for years. I'm like, and I have to imagine that they trust each other enough to say, hey, if this person's in charge today, or if this is how it played out, and they're the best fit to lead the mission, I'm gonna just do what they ask, and we can coordinate the way that we need to because we're friends and we've been working together long enough. It just seems like it's just like Taylor, you're a better writer than this, bro. Do not be the Twitter, Tumblr writer that they say that you are, man. Like I've seen you
Yeah.
write good shit, dude. Like you wrote Injustice, that shit's good. You wrote Dark Knights of Steel, that shit's mostly good until you get to the end and it's Amanda Waller doing stuff, and then hate it. But like, you know what I mean? Like he's a good writer, so I just like I don't understand why they do this kind of stuff when it's like if you know the characters or even hell man, if you read more than one issue with them in it in modern day, you know that they've been around each other long enough to this not be a thing. So you're just wasting words and wasting pages on content where you could be building them up in other ways and doing more interesting things with them. Instead of every issue, you're stopping to have interpersonal drama for no reason. It's just lame, dude.
Yeah, it's like it falls in that category. Like if you look at like back in the day, like the competing series at the time were like Claremont's X-Men, and then you had like,
Yeah.
Wolfman, like New Teen Titans. And those were
Yeah.
kind of like the soap opera kind of comic. Like you
And,
had a
and,
lot
and
of
and I
moments where they're just doing their thing.
right, and I think that there's a place for those books. But like does it need to be like we're stopping to do this like every other issue or every issue for three or four in a row when it's like is Starfire or Donna Troy really gonna be like, hey, I hope you don't get offended if I tell you what to do? It's like, how about we can hash it out later? Or
Right.
that's one of those things that doesn't need to be seen or heard, and you kind of can assume that they hashed it out because they're fucking friends, man. Like,
Oh yeah, I
you
get you.
know what I mean? Like the entire world, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's just put up the example, like you and I have an argument. The world is not going to see us hash it out. It's going to be done behind closed doors, like grown-ups. Like, or if you have an
Right.
argument with somebody at work, it's more appropriate to approach that person off to the side when it's a one-on-one conversation and to not have it in front of the rest of your coworkers.
I will say I feel like there is like a thing now where how do I put it? I saw it on Twitter where it just seems like characters in comics like they don't like get angry, like really angry
It's
or
almost like
like,
artificial drama and art. You know what I
well,
mean? Like,
yeah, and it just feels like, well, I also read Jeff's Green Lantern not that long ago, and they like that beginning of that, run, like the characters are genuinely just like,
yeah, a lot of the
hey,
emotion
Hal
seems
Jordan,
superficial these days. You know what I mean?
yeah, like it just seemed like it seemed like with back then, like because Hal Jordan did all those things, they're like
Yeah,
he doesn't deserve to just like be forgiven for everything, and they were like, well, deal with it, and it was like kind of it was cool for the time. It's cool
yeah.
reading that again, like, but they just don't make comics like that anymore.
No, yeah, I hear you, dude. I was I was thinking about Wade's Flash the other day again, I was thinking about like all the moments throughout where like Wally like puts his life on the line, is like literally about to cross over into Speed Valhalla because it's like that's like the big one of the big points like in the whole
Mm.
run, right? Because like Max is talking about it. You have the whole situation with Savitar trying to reach it. Like the assumption that Johnny passed on and all this stuff, and like like where like what I don't know. I always think I think about that kind of stuff and like how like the lengths he's willing to go
Oh
to
yeah.
like to save everyone and like but like he turns away he turns away Nirvana every time, man. He turns away the like the temptation of peace and tranquility and like being able to like have like getting to be able to like stop like to stop running. He turns it away every time because like it's just the care that's just who he is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, dude. Like, and I think about those moments where it's like, or like the moments where like he talks about like where Barry is like, hey, like like when Barry comes back and talks to him. I just don't feel like Marvel and DC have many of those moments anymore. But like
They do, but it's
that's where indie books come in hard, dude. Like they come in clutch. Like if the, like and it's more often than not where like I'll finish a Marvel and DC book. I'm like, damn, that was cool. And there's a really good chance it might be my favorite book that week. But like there are so many times where like I'll be able like I'll finish like an Immortal Thor issue and I'm like, yeah, it's really, really good and it's like perfect. But like the one thing I was hoping maybe would be like give me a little something that like I was missing, But then like I'll read an indie book and it like has it all and I'm like, okay, like this is kind of what I'm looking for. Like it scratches that itch, I guess, with like the emotional thing.
I do think that the industry's working in a weird way where like I feel like creators almost start indie and then they like go to the big one and they're like, oh, I'm going back to indie. You know?
Yeah, I don't think that's like here's the thing is like I think Marvel and DC realize that like new readers are reading indie stuff.
Right.
Like I hate to say it, like I and having worked in a shop for a couple years, I was getting like you would get a lot of new people that would come in just wanting to check out indie stuff, like because they had like whether it was Invincible
It's
or
more
it was The
accessible.
Walking Dead. It would yeah, it was more accessible. They didn't have to have a long, they don't have to have all this knowledge, or they don't have to go and like search up a bunch of stuff online. Like, and I feel like to into like especially today, like you have 80, like if you go off DC, you have 80 years of content to pull from. And
Yeah.
to even be able to like understand half of the stuff that's being told in comics today, if it's not just like an entirely fresh thing like the Absolute Universe or like I would say even Jeremy Adams' Aquaman right now is pretty approachable for new readers because it just seems like it's steeped in like other kinds of like mythology.
Oh,
Like
hell yeah.
it's pretty cool. And like you've got like Captain Nemo is in this like most recent issue. Like I think 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, right? And
Yep.
so like he like and they're traveling this thing called the blue, and that's almost like it kind of works in the same way that the green and the red do. It's like an elemental force of nature. And Dagon, who's like the Dagon that I know is like a Lovecraftian like god, but like and then he's like the ruler of the blue, and he like controls all of these waterways, and it's all connected, and it's like these ancient water beings. Like it's cool. So like that, I don't feel like you need a huge like you don't need a lot of Aquaman knowledge to kind of grasp that. Like these characters are like the story's pretty approachable. It's pretty easy to understand. But like if you have Batman or Superman or like some of the stories that are being told like in other books, like you really have to know the character's history,
Hmm.
you know? And it's hard to do that as a new reader when you either have to read the stuff that's being referenced and you don't really know where to start with that is, or you don't know what the reading order is, or two, how it becomes like homework and you're just like having to look up a bunch of stuff to even understand the story that you're reading.
Right.
And I think that's a big problem with the big two nowadays is they both have such long storied histories. You almost have to do the homework before you can even kind of get an understanding of what's being told. But
Right.
with
Well,
indie books,
like look at like us. Like we both probably opened up a random comic one day, and that was our
yeah,
introduction to the like reading these characters.
yeah,
And like look at like when our parents were like watching TV shows, like it wasn't weird to like start watching a show at season 2, episode 13. Like they were like,
right,
"Oh, I
yeah,
hear this show's good. I'm gonna jump in." Like no one gets into content like that anymore. Like everyone
And that's
wants
true.
the
And I didn't think
beginning.
about it that way either. It's always like you're either in at the jump or you're not in at all.
Yeah,
That's
and
how
like
it feels.
that's the same thing with like shows now. Like no one's like gonna be on a streamer and like go on a thing like just jump in. And it's the same thing with like
Yeah.
these characters. Like and I mean there are good times. I will say like Rebirth, like that is the modern entry point for a lot of people.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But they can't like it doesn't work like that anymore. It's
Right.
very hard. But the indie stuff, it's like, oh, what's the beginning? Oh, it's
Do
here.
you think it's
Okay.
because they're trying to please both parties now? Like they're really trying to like make an effort. And I know that sounds like stupid, like to think like them trying really hard to please both has kind of made things a little bit muddier.
Oh
Because
yeah.
like if you're trying to maintain the continuity, like this whole thing with Infinite Frontier when they said everything matters, but we also get to pick and choose what matters and doesn't matter at the same time. It's like when you say that, it's hard to follow along sometimes because you have characters that feel entirely brand new,
Right.
and then you have other characters that are like either feel like they're prime or kind of feel like just a cheap ripoff of what their prime was. It's like they're like the generic brand version of that. Yeah, this kind of feels
Yeah.
like until now
Yeah.
I'm just digging on the comic industry, but
I
hey,
know. Um so how would you rate this issue? Going back to the issue. I'm just
five.
curious.
I almost said 5 out of 5. But I don't even do a five. Like 10, dude. It's great. It's really good. It's perfect.
No, yeah, it
I
is good.
thought it was
And
incredible.
it's just moving well and I feel like there's enough breathing room and there's not it's weird. It's weird like I I'm kind of wondering how long Spurrier has on the main Flash. But I'm kind of wondering also how long is this going to go for? Absolute Flash, if you had to guess.
I don't know, man. Okay, my hope would be that these books would last like 40 to 50 issues.
You would hope.
Like,
That would be
like,
great.
I don't think that that's like too much of an ask. Do you?
No. I
You
mean,
know what I
they're
mean? Because
selling
like here's the
well.
thing.
They're doing
If
good.
if you're trying to tell a really concentrated Elseworlds, because that's effectively what these are. Because when this like I'm pretty sure in Infinite Frontier they even called Earth Alpha, which is what this Earth is, the absolute Earth. I'm pretty sure they even called it the Elseworld.
Hmm.
So if it is technically like by definition and by name an Elseworld, like and somebody, you know, check my sources on it because if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'll even look. I'll see if I can find the time and I'll go look back myself. But
Yeah.
like,
I don't
because
even
like
know what
if
you'd
that
look
if
at. Was that
huh
is that death metal when they said that?
Death Metal or Infinite Frontier, it was like the one shot or like whatever
Just that
happened in
seems so
between all. You know
far.
what I mean? It's been like several years now. But like,
Yeah.
and I've read so much shit in between that I feel like my memory is like hazy on some of this stuff now. But like, um, yeah, if we're going based off just that, I don't think if you're trying to tell a really, really strong, concentrated like version of these characters and you want to encompass like their entire mythos, I don't think 40 to 50 issues is too much of an ask.
Oh
Because if you
yeah.
look at the way that some like indie books are formatted, they'll go, 20, 30, 40 issues and it is tight, strong storytelling because you don't have to wade through issue of filler that 3 or 4 issues of a filler arc here or this because back then it was just hundreds of random issues just popping off random shit happening every single issue. It was not a lot of cohesiveness, so you cut through all that and just tell tight versions of like remix remastered versions of stories arcs or use characters in different or similar ways. 40 to 50 issues, I don't think that's a big thing to ask for, I think. And it gives it's a lot to read at least in the modern sense. Like you read 50 issues of something, people are like, "Damn, you read 50." Like you read that's a lot to read.
Yeah. I will say I hope that these don't change writers. I hope that they last
If
like
okay, listen, if they change writers, okay, like I guess the way I have to let go of the idea that we're gonna have a consistent artist every single issue in today's world.
oh
I have
no,
to let
they
that go.
wouldn't give an artist that much power
Like
now. There's no way.
only in Marvel and DC, I have to let that go. But in indie world, it's perfect, dude. It's my dream because books like the Power Fantasy, you'll never have anybody but Casper Winengard on there.
Yeah.
What's the future is a dream. You'll never have anybody but Dan Mora writing or drawing on that book.
I'm surprised that Geiger actually had a
I
different artist.
know, dude, I know, and it's happening with all of them.
Yeah. I'm kind
It's
of wondering
happening.
how that the Ghost Machine thing is doing because I'm a fan. I support it.
I'm reading every book right now.
I think that sooner or later I'd be willing to have a like when it happens, you're gonna be like, you told me. I think Marvel's next big move down the line is you get Jeff Johns and he does the Hulk. Every
Dude,
interview,
do you think we get like a really strong like Jeff Johns Marvel run?
I think I think eventually
No.
it's that's gonna happen. I'm telling you because
Because he did Avengers back in the day, you remember?
yeah, I never read any of that stuff though.
I haven't either, but
Right before Bendis.
almost did. I almost started it because I had read when I read Busiek's Avengers,
Mm,
and it's like yeah, literally the next he picks up right where Busiek leaves off, and I was like, I have other stuff I want to read.
yeah.
I
No,
said maybe later, but
I just feel like whenever I've listened to a Jeff Johns interview, he's always just said like, I would love to do the Hulk one day.
oh, that would be sick, dude.
I don't know. I think I want these
Let
Ghost
Philip
Machine
Kennedy
books.
Johnson go to 50 issues, and then he can wind down Ghost Machine in a couple years, and bam, we get a Jeff Johns Hulk. 2030 Jeff Johns Hulk, dude. He was foretelling it because he talked about Secret Crisis in 2030, and Hulk is involved in that.
And that'll be Gary Frank's return to Marvel, return to the Hulk.
Dude.
We can only hope, but
Or Jason Fabrik on Hulk.
I don't think he's ever gonna do any big two stuff ever again.
Do you think
I'd
so?
be surprised. His artwork, he takes like a monthly
That is
book.
true. He takes a long time because I'm
Long
still waiting
time.
for Rook to come back, dude. Like every other book is like 12, okay, listen. Rockefellers, Hornsby and Halo, Hyde Street, all three of those books are at five or like almost six issues in, and Rook is only at six issues. So
I
my
like how
book,
they actually go like on a break, like a TV show would.
yeah.
Like I'm
And
fine with
like
that.
Rook's the only one that's doing that. Geiger is still
I
trucking
thought
along.
Redcoat was gonna do that, but they didn't.
See, dude, okay. This is Brian Hitch's best work of his like a career, dude.
I would say so.
I still don't think it's great. I still don't think it's great. Like
I'm so
I
behind.
it's good, but the book is really good, dude. The book is great. Like I like Simon so much more than I thought I was going to. Like he's such a prick, but he's so fun to follow like all of his adventures. Like 'cause he met Johnny Appleseed
Yeah.
and then he
I
met
didn't read that issue though. I don't think I read
it's
that issue
hella
yet.
good, dude. It's hella funny, man. I love it. Um, and then he met Annie Oakley and did like a shoot off with her. And he's like head over heels in love with her for the issue, bro. It's hella funny.
Damn. I'm looking forward to uh
It's
get
good,
jumped back
dude.
into
It's
it.
hella good. It's
I
such a
have the
good.
issues. I'm just like I'm kind of gonna do a
Yeah.
binge.
Yeah, no,
There's just so many books, man.
yeah, when you finally get to sit down and read it, it's great. I really liked it.
Sweet. All right, man. Well, let's wrap this up. I feel like this issue is pretty straightforward, so I think next issue there's gonna be a lot more to talk about. Um,
Yeah, I don't know, man. I guess I'll just wait and see what's in it, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like who this old guy is, if it is a rogue, if it's not a rogue and it is a familiar Flash family character, you know.
We'll cross that bridge
Dude,
when we get there.
what is this? Okay, here's some of the questions that I have before we wrap up.
Okay.
Like what Bart? How does Bart like do we ever see Bart Allen? Or is that just
In this,
or is do I just kiss him goodbye because Barry's gone?
dude, I'm telling you, man, I don't think we're gonna get any other speedsters in this,
You really
other
don't
than
think so?
other than like maybe a twist on the Reverse Flash, and
You
I'm
don't okay,
fine with
you don't
that.
even think that maybe at some point we'll get uh just like maybe one other heroic speedster, maybe just one.
No, I don't think we're gonna get any.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get any more, and I'm fine with that. I actually
I mean, I'm okay
am
with it
hoping for
too,
that.
but like I I'm almost just kind of waiting for this like character that we see early on, we don't see for a while, and they kind of circle back around and they've got speed powers to kind of balance out the situation with whoever the Reverse Flash is. I don't know. I don't know. And again, maybe this is just me like looking too deep into the stuff that Lemire does in the past, and
Yeah,
but like I don't know, man. Like I think it
I
would be cool, but I'm also like if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, and I'm okay with that. I'm fine with it.
I think what the coolest thing that they could do would like down the road would be like a Wally from the future coming back and like
Okay,
mentoring him
okay, that okay.
himself.
I would be down with that.
Like you kind of do like what
Or
Wade
do we
did.
get main universe Wally that comes in? No, you don't even want that.
I mean, I will. I'd be happy. I'd be pretty psyched. But like,
You know what I mean? Like, and it doesn't even have to be anything more than just like a moment where abs because like they're eventually they are going to cross over. You know what I mean? Like we're going to see them cross over because Darkseid is like the focal point of both the universes right now.
yeah,
So when things collide and they eventually meet, I my hope would be is that it they've already met. Like I want the Flashes to be the first two from both universes that meet, and it's in like an independent event. And then you have the big crossover later on, whether it's at the end or whenever you decide to do it. My hope would be that the two Flashes have already met. And when they meet, you get this Flash who's all alone, who's had everything stacked against him. He sees like I guess what's possible. You know what I mean? Like what's
yeah.
possible for Wally West.
You know, I know there's gonna be a crossover between like, Absolute and the main universe,
Yeah.
but part of me just doesn't want it.
I mean, I would be okay. It's weird because I keep thinking I would be fine if they didn't, but like it's also it would be cool that when they
It's
do.
inevitable though.
Yeah, like it's gonna be cool when they do, but I would also be I would be content if they didn't and it's just sit on its own. I do want the absolute characters to interact with each other at some point though. Like that's something I really would look forward to.
It's way too soon.
No, absolutely. No, I agree with you. But I mean I want to say that Snyder and a couple of the creators have already said that they're gonna cross over within the next year. But I think it's just gonna be the Trinity that meets up first.
That's smart because they're the
But
most kind of established.
right, which is now like thinking about it, if you do the Trinity meeting first in the Absolute Universe and you have the two Flashes meeting up from the main universe and the Absolute Universe, it kind of emulates classic DC in that way, you know?
That's true.
You have a Flash of Two Worlds multiversal thing, and then you
That's
have a
true.
classic Trinity team up.
Maybe that would be cool. But mm,
They're not that smart.
I don't know, man. I'm just
No, dude,
I'm
okay,
just along
they're
with the
okay,
ride.
listen. I'm not giving DC enough credit. Marvel's not that smart because did you hear the news about the Marvel DC crossovers today?
Yeah. I think,
Zeb
and I
Wells writing that is the stupidest shit I think I've heard all week. And that's only Tuesday, bro.
imagine if you had Hickman doing it.
That's what I'm saying. They're dumb, dude. They're so dumb. Or even like
They should have done Batman, Spider-Man.
or like
But
how about
like
this? Let Ewing do it because he just wrote the Batman annual and it was good as shit. He just no, sorry, the Detective Comics annual. It was a banger, dude.
I'm still not reading tech.
And he does, dude. Meta narrative is like his bag. And that's what Deadpool does. Breaks the fourth wall, says a bunch of funny meta shit. Yada yada yada. You get the guy that can do both. And Ewing's a really popular writer at Marvel.
Um,
And I'm biased. And I'm a shill for Ewing. And I buy everything he does, even Metamorpho, and it's pretty good actually.
I'm happy it's Grant Morrison Batman. That's what I'm a
Which again,
big fan of. And
Morrison's will be the guy to do Deadpool because he does all that stuff too.
oh man, it's cool though. I think on a DCN, I mean, the art's gonna be fantastic. Let's be honest.
Dude, Dan Moore and Grant Morrison teaming up again is gonna be great.
That's gonna be fantastic.
Greg
Oh
Capullo doing art for the Marvel side is cool, but I don't know. I'm still not excited for Zeb Wells, dude. It's just such a dumb move.
yeah,
It's just like it's like okay. I guess the other news that was interesting I did hear was that I don't know. Okay, I don't know the validity of this, and I don't know when it's happening. But apparently, somebody at Marvel said that Nick Lowe will be leaving his role as Spider-Man editor at some point soon.
we've been saying that for years.
Please, for the love of God,
Yeah,
please. Let him go, Nick. Let Spider-Man go.
I haven't read
Let Spider
Spider-Man like
let Spider-Man go, and you can maybe have my money, dude. Like
I haven't read Spider-Man Monthly since like the early Nick Spencer stuff.
that was the last time I tried it. Okay, that's
I'll
not
go
true.
back.
I tried the first three issues of Wells Run, and I gave them away because I hated them.
Yeah.
I was like, "This is $12. I'm never gonna see again." Here you go.
All right, brother. Let's wrap this up. Always good
Yeah,
chatting with you.
yeah, of course, man.
And
Yeah,
always
I
looking forward to the next issue.
a lot of cool stuff to look forward to in this book, I think.